Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the April 25th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
First item today is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there questions or a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This morning we have one set of vouchers dated April 24th, 2013 in the amount of $996,291.33. I'll move for approval of the vouchers.
Okay. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer to approve the vouchers as presented.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Do you have questions?
I need to abstain.
Okay.
I didn't have any questions.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 2-1. Commissioner
With one abstention.
201.
abstaining. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item B, treasurer number 1, consider approval of request to utilize the state contract with Premier Employment Solutions for hiring seasonal temporary employees.
Morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. This is a request for authorization to utilize the state contract to hire seasonal or temporary employees. It's not a request for additional budget money, nor is it a request to replace budgeted positions. It's my attempt to be able to fill the gap between the time that I have a vacancy and when I'm able to fill the vacancy. The way the current system works is there's a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks between the vacancy occurring and when I could possibly have somebody on the payroll. The only way to cover the workload in the meantime is for overtime. That costs me on average about $20 an hour. By utilizing the service and eliminating the overtime, I can pay $14 an hour. Simply economics, and be able to run the business while I'm working through the process of hiring someone.
Sure. Thank you, Larry. Questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's request.
There's a motion by Commissioner Archer. I'll second the motion, but I do want to check with our HR department and Jonathan Thummel. And you have had consultation with
Yes, I
him
have.
as well, correct?
This is a state contract. The HR department did review that, and I have discussed this with the union.
With the union, that was my next question. Okay. All right. Thank you. Further questions?
And I noticed that we have a union representative here. I don't know if they have any issues or questions or comments.
If you do, you can come up to the podium at this time and just state your name and make your comments.
Commissioners, Mike Scribner from Teamsters. Morning.
Morning.
I have spoken with Mr. Maw about the hiring of temporary employees. Also want to say probably the bigger problem is the starting wage of the account clerk ones. $9.47 an hour is what they start at. So to get more qualified personnel, we've got to raise that wage. That's all I have. Thank you.
Larry, any comment on that?
No, he's exactly right. I had stated earlier that if you follow the process, it takes a minimum of 7 to 8 weeks if everything goes perfectly. In reality, I've had requests in for 3 additional employees that were in my budget since the first week of January. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to fill those positions by the first week of May. They're still empty. That has caused me to work 2 Saturdays a month overtime, and I talked about the cost of that. So I'm in danger of actually blowing my budget trying to make up for that lack of manpower. And he's exactly right. At 9:47, we don't exactly have people beating down our doors for that salary. I was able, excuse me, to hire 1 person in this process. She lasted 2 days before she was given another better offer and left us. So, it is what it is.
Have you had any conversation, though, with Human Resources? I know other departments have done some reclassification and that sort of thing. Has that been discussed yet, or?
Well, being as new on the job as I am,
Sure.
I don't want to go too far out on a limb here. It would be my hope that as we approach the contract negotiations in a couple of years, that I would be in a position to look at changing the classification of my employees. Currently, we're classified as account 1, which is clerical. I can tell you that they go way beyond typing and filing paperwork. If you've ever been down there and watched them put that information into the machine, into the computer system, you know that there's a lot of technical expertise and knowledge that goes along with that. At $9.47 an hour, it's just not going to attract the kind of people we need in the long term. Again, that's highly dependent on my ability to budget for it and to afford that.
And that's the amount that does not include benefits.
If you
insurance, all
include
that sort of thing.
benefits, you add another 20% to that, plus another $6,000 a year. So it gets to be up around $12, $13 an hour starting pay, of which the employee only sees $9.47
Okay.
in actual wages.
Right. Okay. Further discussion? No? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Item C, District Court, number 1, consider approval of request to fill a vacant court technology support specialist position at a salary of $4,330 per month, which includes benefits.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kathy Linhart, District Court. This is a position that has been in the court IT budget for about 3 years. 2010 was when that occurred. Prior to that time, we were hiring 2 people under contracts that the county was paying for, and it was established that that was not a good way to do business because these are individuals that have to be supervised. And so that was created in 2010. Do you have any questions for me about that position and how it's used and why we need it? I will say, John Tumble and his department have been really helpful in getting me all set up to do it, and we use county policies and pay practice and all of those things. It's all done through county payroll. So we did have a meeting, and Pat Oglander sat in with us on that too.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions or a motion?
I would move to approve the request.
Here's a motion to approve the request by Commissioner Cook
I'll second.
and Commissioner Archer second. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 241-2013 and upgrade and renewal of the contract with Westlaw for legal research services at a cost of $1,039.44 per month.
The current cost on that contract is $989.94, and it will go up to $139.44 in May. So actually, this will not be an increase in cost. It's in our budget. So it's a real upgrade for the judges and the clerks that do the legal research on cases. And they've been wanting to do the Westlaw Next for a long time, so this is a good opportunity to do it for no additional cost.
Great, thank you, Kathy. Questions?
Move to approve the request.
There's a motion to approve by Commissioner Cook,
I'll second.
and second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kathy.
Item D, planning. Number 1, consider approval of request to adopt an exception to allow temporary placement of a manufactured home on property currently zoned RA1 Rural Agricultural District located at 10624 Southwest Indian Hills Road in Auburn Township.
Good morning, Barry Beagle, Shawnee County Planning Department. The Porters are seeking an exception under the Shawnee County zoning regulations to place a temporary housing unit on property at 10624 Southwest Indian Hills Road during the reconstruction of their home that was extensively damaged by fire. In accordance with Section 1.09C4A2 of the zoning regulations, a property owner may seek an exception to allow for the temporary placement of a manufactured home as a secondary dwelling in instances of extreme hardship or necessity and not based on financial considerations of the applicant, provided that 1, the applicant shall justify and attest to the hardship or reason for requesting the exception. 2nd, the applicant shall agree that the exception may be granted for a one-time period not to exceed 18 months, provided that at such time the hardship or reason of necessity shall cease and become null and void, the temporary manufactured home shall be removed from the property. And finally, the placement of the temporary manufactured home shall otherwise comply with the requirements of the zoning regulations, wastewater management plan, and all other applicable restrictions and regulations. If found to be compliant with the exception provisions, the County Commission may grant a one-time exception for a period not to exceed 18 months. In looking at this specific request, the applicant notes that it would be advantageous to place a temporary housing unit on the property to monitor and oversee reconstruction of their home. Although it is not necessary to live on property during construction of a new home, the applicants have been displaced from their home and property by virtue of the fire, and it is their desire to live on the property while their home is being reconstructed. From that aspect, the Planning Department believes the applicant has demonstrated a hardship or a reason of necessity for requesting the unit. Secondly, the applicant acknowledges and agrees to the requirement that the exception be limited to a one-time period not to exceed 18 months, and agrees to remove the unit upon completion and reoccupancy of their home. It is estimated to take about 8 to 9 months to complete the reconstruction of their home. Given their concurrence with this limitation and the estimated time to complete and reoccupy the home, the Planning Department would recommend that the exception be limited to a term not to exceed 10 months. And the final condition is that the applicant has negotiated with Able Housing, a national on-site temporary housing company, for placement of either an elite travel trailer or elite park model trailer on the property. Here's the difficult nut that we're going to have to overcome with regard to this request, and that is that regardless of the type of unit selected, it has to comply with the requirement of a manufactured home as defined by the zoning regulations. And the zoning regulations defines a manufactured home as a structure which is subject to the federal manufactured home construction and safety standards established pursuant to 42 U.S.C. 5403. I believe that the manufactured homes were specifically identified because they are designed and built as permanent housing and include the necessary packages for water, sewage disposal, electrical systems, etc., associated with permanent housing. Travel trailers are not designed, however, for long-term occupancy and can lead to other safety and environmental issues. Regardless, however, the Planning Department acknowledges that the company that they are negotiating with, Able Housing, provides units that are specifically designed for temporary housing in response to a fire, flood, tornado, etc. Beyond the type of temporary housing unit proposed, the unit is to be placed on the north side of the house and in a location that would be compliant with building separation and the setback requirements of the zoning district. Provided the unit complies with the manufactured home requirement, as you determine, the Planning Department finds the applicant has demonstrated a hardship associated with the displacement from their home due to fire, and placement of a temporary housing unit on the property during reconstruction would be appropriate to monitor and oversee construction of their property. Therefore, again, the Planning Department is recommending that the exception be granted for a one-time period not to exceed 10 months, subject to, and I will make one correction, and that is that I had recommended 3 conditions associated with the exception. The first one assumed that there would be a change with regard to the home itself, and for which a building permit would be required. It is our understanding that they want to reconstruct the home in its original form, and as such, since there's no physical lateral expansion of the home, a building permit would not be required under that instance. However, we are recommending the other 2 conditions be applicable to the proposed exception. Again, limiting the term of the exception and providing for the removal of the unit once that issue is satisfied. So with that, I'll conclude my comments.
Thank you, Barry. Other questions from the commission first? No. And I believe the applicants are here. Okay. Did you want to add anything? It's not necessary, but wanted to offer.
Thank you very much for your approval if possible.
I would move to approve the request by the planning department.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All those in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you, Barry, for your work on this. I know you reviewed it quickly but thoroughly, as always. Thank you.
Item E, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider amendment to Appendix A of Contract C 203-2013 with Topeka Premier Umpire Association, LLC, correcting compensation rates for youth volleyball to $15 per game and recreational under to $25 per game.
Morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. I was down here a week or so ago, and we had approval for the contract. But in our negotiations with the Topeka Premier Umpires, we agreed upon 2 wages that inadvertently didn't get changed on the appendix. I'm here asking approval to amend the appendix to $15 and $25. Be glad to answer any questions you may have.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
There's a motion to approve by Commissioner Archer. Is there a second?
It is a second, but I do have a question or comment.
Okay.
This is exactly the problem that we had with the last contract, where there were missing terms, incomplete. There were issues when it came to the clerk's office last year, and that's the reason why we had delayed this a couple of times. Are we sure that there's no further changes that need to be made to the contract?
I'm confident. I'm hoping. Again, we apologize that we didn't catch this to go the first go round, but I've had both parties look at it thoroughly, and they assure me that this is the final one. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Randy. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks.
Commissioner.
Item F, Audit Finance. Number 1, update on expenditures and revenues.
Morning.
Good morning.
Betty Griner, Financial Administrator. I would like to go over with you the financial reports that we provided through March 31st of 2013.
And Betty, can I stop you right there?
Sure.
Did we get the reports?
I don't recall seeing.
Did you forward anything to us?
Yes.
We do not have them, or they were not in the packet on the website that I'm aware of.
I didn't see them either.
I didn't see them either. I wonder if we might need to delay this just
That would
because
be
the
fine.
public has not seen them
Yes.
either, so no fault of yours, and nobody, but.
Yeah, I think Kevin's
Yeah,
getting
let's-
special treatment.
No,
haven't seen
I
it.
think it's,
Yeah, I didn't
why don't we
see
go
it.
ahead and put it on for Monday?
For Monday, yeah.
And that way we can scan it and make sure it's
Sure.
on there. Maybe it was scanned, it just didn't get attached. Will that work?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
And was Auburn Senior Center, there was no information past really the softball, or not the umpire contract. Yeah, I thought it was kind of
Let me see.
odd. Did you?
We can
I've-
check. I know that we
Got mine
scanned
for the
scanned it.
senior center as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
This is the scan back and it's in here.
Yeah.
really? Huh,
It was
it's
a-
not on the
everything was the
website.
same.
You didn't see it on the website?
No, I
I
didn't
didn't
see
either.
And, saying we,
Okay, we're,
saying we scanned it in, and
huh,
it may have, I don't know that they put all stuff together, but.
yeah, okay.
I don't
Is
know.
Nancy here, Johnson?
Yeah, I saw her
Nancy's
sneaking
here.
in the door back here.
Well, go ahead and read the next item.
Okay.
Hi, Nancy.
Item G, Commission Number 1, consider approval of allocation to the Auburn Senior Center, Inc. in an amount of $5,000.
Nancy, just to bring you up to speed, when you were out there, we the scanned copy that goes on the website didn't have the information for the Auburn Senior Center allocation. And so, but let's go ahead and see if we want to take any action on this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carolyn Mercantine, representing the Auburn Senior Center. We are located in the Auburn Methodist Church in Auburn, Kansas, and our hours are from 9 to 1, Monday through Friday. We rent the space from the church for our center. Seniors come to the center to play cards, bingo, work on puzzles, take part of red carpet service, which is the Topeka, Shawnee County Public Library. They also eat their meals at the site of the center. Community speakers are invited to speak at the center. Last fall, we missed our opportunity submitted for a grant for funding for 2013. We have been able to continue serving our community up to this point, but will not have enough money to finish out the year. We are requesting $5,000 or whatever to help us for the rest of 2013. We will be unable to continue the center through December without the funds. I will say that the Auburn meal site has been there 20 years plus, and I have been involved for 10 years. We've always filled out a grant form. We've never failed. And I've attended all the meetings that is required. I became critically ill with open heart surgery, so that really messed things up. But if you have it in your hearts to help us out, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy, do you have anything you want to add?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Nancy Johnson with Community Resources Council, and I'm also the liaison between the County Commission and the Shawnee County Advocacy Council on Aging. And yes, Carolyn is right. They have gotten funding for the last 20 years. They, at the time, we sent emails, called, letters asking them if they were going to apply for the grant, and we heard nothing from them until we were notified that they had come and asked for some general funds. Myself and Tony and Don Woodard from SCACA met with Carolyn and with another representative, Terry, from her center. We helped her look at the budget. We looked at how she might be able to be more advantageous. We worked with Meals on Wheels. We sent you all reports telling us exactly what we found, but did not make any recommendations because CRC does not make recommendations. Tony Augusto, who is the chair of SCACA, is here, and if you'd like to have a opinion from him, he is here, and I stand for any questions.
We certainly hope you don't get ill again, but do we have a backup contact for,
We
we're
do.
going into budget for
We do.
2014, and so.
Is that person still going to be, even though she's teaching school? Okay. All right.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. I move approval of the request.
Second.
Further discussion?
Yeah.
There's a motion by Commissioner Bueller, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. And thanks for being here this morning.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Are there any administrative communications? Don't miss the State of the County address tomorrow.
I'm personally excited.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Tomorrow afternoon at Capitol Plaza.
Maynard Conference Center.
Yes,
Like
and
it's
the new mayor, Larry Wolgass, will be there as well. So we'll do some highlights of 2012 and some opportunities for 2013. So, next item, please.
Item 6, Executive Session.
There is a need for a period not to exceed 10 minutes for real estate. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0, and any anticipated action?
No.
All right, thank you.
I have to find someone else to pick on, and there's nobody else around.
Okay. We are back in session. Did you say you wanted to explain?
Oh, just
the reason?
that I don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna have to speak to IT on the items scanned. We did check, I did check with my office, and all the stuff was scanned, but, you know, you just don't know, and that's that computer
Okay.
world, and
It happens. We'll
Yeah,
get it back
it
on for
happens.
Monday. Okay.
we'll make sure it's in there.
Okay, great. We are adjourned.
No demerits.
Well, it's no demerits for either.